What should one consider before they file for divorce? Well, my name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan, and today we're going to continue our video series designed to educate and inform the public, so please subscribe to our channel. I would say there's a lot of things to consider before a person files for divorce. Of course, you want to, figure out some basic things like where you're going to live, where the children are going to live, who's going to get custody of the children, how is that going to work, how long will it take, can you afford a lawyer, can you find a lawyer that sees things the same way you do, that has the same vision of the case, how do you work out the logistics of that, who's paying the bills while the divorce is pending. These are all things you got to consider. I will tell you one thing though. One overriding thing that I think a lot of people fail to consider. What you've got to realize is that while psychologically and stress-wise you might be happier divorced than married, you do have to understand there is a big change in your life that's going to come about as a result of splitting your family in half. And, if you think it's going to be all roses, it's not. It's not, because the same incomes that, for example, supported one household now have to support two. Now you're doing shuttle diplomacy with respect to your children. Now you're on a schedule. You have to schedule time to be with your kids. You have to have a different kind of structure going forward. What's your social life going to be like? How is that? How are your kids and your schedule with your kids going to impede that? So there's an awful lot to take into account. I don't mean to suggest that figuring all that out is necessary before you decide to get divorced, and I don't think you even should. I think that you should consider these things, but understand that these are issues out there, and that's about all you can do. If you decide, I'm going to come to a resolution on all of these issues before I decide whether or not I'm going to get divorced, you'll never get divorced. You have to make that decision based on the relationship. You have to let the relationship govern your actions. If the relationship is such that there's nothing left to salvage in the marriage, it's over, there's nothing you can do, then you have to get a divorce. You have to know that when you get the divorce, there will be A, B, C, D, and all the things that I've laid out. There will be all those considerations. It's not a reason not necessarily to get divorced. It's just a reason to be mindful of what lies ahead. It's kind of like, if you're, let's say, changing your job position from one position to another, you've got to know that you may have some responsibilities, some red tape associated with the departure before you get into the new one. If you're deciding to move from one house to another, you've got to know there are considerations. You've got to get the water and the utilities. You've got to arrange for the mail. They're just things. And it doesn't mean, this is so difficult, I better not move. Oh, it's so bad, I better not take the job. That's not what it means. It just means you have to have knowledge of these things going in so that you won't be blindsided by the tasks that lie ahead. If you have any questions about that, reach out, and we'll be glad to help you out.